today's session, we are going to start with our new chapter, Engineering Materials. This is Faizan Kagdi, and I welcome you all to our lecture series of Basic Mechanical Engineering. So let's begin. Now, first of all, we are going to see classification of engineering materials. So, engineering materials are classified as first metals and their alloys, and second non-metals. So, metals such as iron, steel, copper, aluminium comes under this category, whereas non-metals includes ceramics, glass, plastics, etc. Now, these metals can be further classified into two types. So, first type is ferrous metals, which have iron as their main constituent, for example, steel and cast iron. Second is the non-ferrous metals, so which has a metal other than iron as the main constituent, such as copper, aluminium, zinc comes under this category. That is, the metals which does not contain iron are called as a non-ferrous metals. Now next we need to see properties of our engineering materials. So there are different properties of engineering materials. Let's see that. First, strength. So as the name itself suggests, that strength is the ability of a material to resist breaking under action of external forces or external loads. Next type of property is stiffness. So stiffness is the ability of a material to resist deformation under stress. The material which deforms less under load has a high degree of stiffness. So the important term over here is ability to resist deformation, that is change in shape. That ability is called a stiffness. Okay. Next term, hardness. So we would say that it is again an ability of a material to resist scratching, wear, penetration and abrasion. So this is known as hardness. Hardness of a material is usually measured by certain tests, for example Brinell hardness test, then after dye penetrant test. So it basically determines that whether a substance or whether a dye can penetrate under that surface of a material or not. If it can penetrate, then we can say that there are certain spots or holes present in a material. Okay. So in this we can say that if there is no wear and tear of a material, if wear and tear doesn't occur, if scratching on a material does not take place, if certain things does not penetrate inside the surface of a material, then we can say that the material is harder, that is having a high hardness and it has the ability to resist it. Okay. Next type is ductility. So we would say that it is again a property of a material to undergo deformation under tension without breaking. So remember, again, it is an ability of a material to undergo deformation. So in this property, a material can be deformed under loads. Okay, but it will not break without breaking. Okay, so that property of a material is called ductility. Okay, next is a brittleness. So we would say that brittleness resembles to our glass. What will happen when a glass falls? So we would say that it will break out, right? Which means that it can't resist deformation. As soon as the force is exerted on that material, it will directly break, that is fracture will take place. So we can say that brittleness is a property of a material by virtue of which fracture without appreciable deformation will take place. Which means that deformation is not going to take place in this property. Directly a substance will fail. Okay, fracture will take place. Next type is a toughness. So again, it is a property of a material to resist fracture due to high impact load like hammer blow and absorb certain amount of energy. So for example, that whenever we are hammering certain substance and if it does not deform or it does not change its state, okay, then we would say that it is absorbing that energy. It has a capability to absorb that energy. So that property of a material is called toughness of a material. Okay. Next property, malleability. So again we would say that it is a property of a material to withstand deformation under compression without fracture. which means that when a compression load is exerted or when a compression is taken place on a material, then deformation will take place of a material, but it will not fail or it will not break down. Okay, so that property of a material is called malleability. Okay, next type, elasticity. Okay, now what is elasticity? So we would say that it is an ability of a material to regain its original shape after deformation when external load are removed on it. Now this property is of rubber. Now what is going to happen to a rubber? So we would say that we can stretch that rubber, right? So deformation of a rubber can take place, and when we release a force from that rubber, so again it will regain its original shape. So that property of a rubber is called elasticity, in which a rubber can be deformed but it will again regain its shape once a force is removed. Now let's see next type, that is called plasticity. So we would say that plasticity is the ability of a material to permanently deform without fracture even after removal of load. So plasticity will be applied to plastics, basically to polymers. For example, when we stretch a plastic, so what is going to happen? So plastic will not fail, okay, it will not break down, but a deformation will take place, and that deformation will be permanent. After releasing then force, even it is not going to regain its original shape. So that property is called plasticity. Now next property is resilience. So it is an ability of a material to absorb or store energy and to resist shock and impact loads. Okay. Next is creep. Now when a part or some material component is subjected to a constant stress at a high temperature for a longer period of time, then it will undergo a slow and permanent deformation. So that property of a material is called creep. So remember, the thing which you need to remember is that when a material is subjected to constant stress under high temperature, so it will undergo a slow and permanent deformation, and that is called a creep. Okay. Next property, thermal conductivity. It is an ability of a material to conduct heat energy, that is amount of heat per unit time throughout the material. So it is very clear that it is required, it is the most important property of a material to transfer heat energy from a system to the surrounding. For example, in case of an internal combustion engine, we know that we need to reject heat energy during a power stroke to the surrounding atmosphere. So at that time, the material of a cylinder should be such that it has a high thermal conductivity. Okay. Now next we need to see fatigue. A material fails at a stress below the yield point stress when it is subjected to a repeated tensile stress and compressive stress. Okay, so in this type of property, we would say that material is going to fail when a material is subjected to two stress simultaneously. That is, one is a tensile stress and second is a compressive stress repeatedly. Okay, so this type of failure of a material is known as fatigue failure. Next property is castability. So it is defined as the ease with which a material can be given various solid shape from a liquid state. That is, solidification rate, shrinkage, gas porosities, etc. are the factors which affect castability. Okay. Now next type, machine ability. So it is the ease with which a material can be machined or cut during a machining operation with a satisfactory surface finish. So various machining operation we know, that is turning operation, then grinding operation, then drilling operations. So while doing that machining operation, the ability of a material to withstand that force, a material can withstand that force of machining, okay, at the time of machining. So that property of a material is called machine ability. Okay guys, so in this session we are keeping up till here. In next session we will continue with next, that is ferrous materials. So till then, stay tuned and thank you all.